Hello, Morongo Basin and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Thursday, August 24th, 2023. An afternoon of drinking and violence left a pregnant woman injured and 3 suspects arrested for investigation into charges of assault and DUI. On August 15th at approximately 12:15 p.m., county sheriff's deputies responded to a report of an assault in the 6300 block of Richard Drive in Yucca Valley. Deputies say they arrived to find a number of people at the house and determined that Savannah Sanchez, a 24-year-old resident of Yucca Valley, had assaulted a female victim. Deputies report that the victim was not injured, but she insisted on pressing charges, and so Sanchez was cited, released, and separated from the victim. 1 hour later, deputies responded to another report of a disturbance at the same house on Richard Drive. When they arrived, they heard a car crashing nearby and responded to the scene of the collision in an empty lot near Indio Avenue and David Avenue, where they found an injured pregnant woman in the passenger seat and no driver. Deputies investigated the crash and determined that Sanchez got into another altercation with Celisa Martin, a 20-year-old resident of Yucca Valley, and other unidentified victims. One of those unidentified victims was the pregnant woman, who deputies say was driven away from the gathering by Manuel Tarango, a 31-year-old resident of Yucca Valley. Deputies determined that Tarango had been drinking and crashed the car in the lot before fleeing the scene on foot. The pregnant woman was taken to High Desert Medical Center for injuries. Deputies quickly located Manuel Tarango and arrested him for investigation into driving under the influence of alcohol and being drunk in public. Savannah Sanchez and Celisa Martin were arrested on suspicion of being drunk in public. All 3 were booked at the Morongo Basin Jail. The final witness in the Arthur Davies trial was called yesterday, putting the court case on the final path toward conclusion after over 5 years of delays and continuances. Online news editor Robert Hayden joins us with his report.
The Arthur Davies trial concluded yesterday with a half day of testimony from the defense's expert witness, Dr. Marvin Petruska, a pathologist who operates a medical facility in Reseda, California. The doctor says he reviewed Parker's hospital records as well as the autopsy and police report, and in his professional opinion, he says it matches the defendant's story. Parker Lee Schumacher died from blunt force trauma to the head, swelling and bleeding of the brain, retinal detachment, and hemorrhaging. All injuries that Arthur Davies says resulted from the 17-month-old falling backwards out of his arms and onto a linoleum kitchen floor. Defending counsel Zulu Ali asked the witness if Parker had any other injuries that would suggest child abuse, such as bruising around the torso or broken ribs. The doctor says that the lack of these corroborating injuries means, quote, this is absolutely an isolated single event. During prosecution's cross-examination, attorney Charles Sway pressed the doctor on photographs and diagrams of Parker's skull that he appeared to have trouble identifying, asking him if he had reviewed the over 1,800 pages of medical records from Loma Linda University Hospital where the pictures were contained. The doctor replied, all I had was an email with a lot of paper records. It wasn't important for me to look at these pictures. Prosecution then spent most of their cross-examination challenging the doctor's findings, using sources he cited in his own report that appeared to contradict his conclusion that Parker's injuries were caused by a fall from 5 feet or higher. The doctor admitted to not seeing the video reenactment of Arthur Davies' explanation of how Parker sustained the injuries. He says he spent about 10 hours reviewing and writing his report for the case, in which he's paid $650 an hour. The doctor says he was also paid for his testimony, but couldn't remember if his half-day rate was $6,000 or $7,500. In defense's recross, the doctor told attorney Zulu Ali that this case is unique because, quote, unless you are a man who takes care of a baby on a regular basis, it may be a little awkward to hold a baby. Men are not used to holding babies. I think it's reasonable to consider inflicted trauma. I truly believe that this is an accident. The defense's expert witness was excused and both sides now rest and will present their closing arguments to the jury on Monday. For more on this testimony and all reporting on this case, look for it on our website, Z107.7fm.com. Reporting for Z107.7 News, this is Robert Hayden.
A bus carrying 28 children from La Contenta Middle School on Route Number 3 was involved in an accident yesterday, and 1 child was treated for minor injuries. California Highway Patrol reports that the Morongo Unified School District bus was driving westbound on Onaga Trail when a Nissan, heading southbound and driven by David Terry, a 53-year-old Yucca Valley resident, did not stop at a stop sign. The Nissan struck the right side of the school bus. The bus traveled in a northwesterly direction onto private property and through a wooden fence. The bus then struck a parked Chevrolet that was pushed into a northerly direction into a residence. One child on the bus suffered minor injuries and was taken by ambulance to a nearby hospital out of an abundance of caution. The driver of the car was taken to a nearby hospital for treatment for injuries. Representatives from the CHP, County Sheriff's Department, and Morongo Unified School District administrative personnel were on scene within minutes. California Highway Patrol is currently investigating the accident, though alcohol and drugs did not appear to be a factor. San Bernardino County is holding an open community forum about short-term vacation rentals and their impact on our area today at 4:30 p.m. The forum is one part of a larger study about the impact of short-term vacation rentals being conducted by the county. If you're unable to attend the meeting in person, the county is accepting comments via email, which you can find at this story at Z107.7 The meeting is 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. today at the Joshua Tree Community Center, located at 6171 Sunburst Street in Joshua Tree. At the end of the August 9th Yucca Valley Planning Commission meeting, it was mentioned that Vaughn's in Yucca Valley was up for sale. There was a listing on LoopNet, a commercial real estate site. Reporter Hillary Sloan discovered open space in the Vaughn's shopping center that was up for lease. Vaughn's will not be leaving the Morongo Basin. The Big Morongo Canyon Preserve in Morongo Valley suffered major damage from last weekend's tropical storm Hillary and will remain closed until cleanup crews can finish this daunting task. Assignment reporter and Morongo Valley resident Gabriel Hart digs deeper into the mess.
Over 5 inches of rain hit Morongo Valley on Sunday, August 20th, with much of the muddy runoff gathering in the preserve, uprooting trees, damaging trails, and toppling the boardwalk. Big Morongo Canyon Preserve Executive Director Kevin Wong said a management team and 6 official BMCP volunteers are currently assessing the extent of damage and need to finish their threat and repair assessments before asking community volunteers for additional assistance. Wong said so far they've found 14 downed trees on the boardwalk that volunteers are sawing into pieces to safely remove. The preserve's education center is also inundated with excess mud, as well as the preserve's access road, which Wong said, quote, got hammered bad, unquote. Further damage was incurred at the nearby Covington Park, where photos provided from Wong showed a large tree downed and the entirety of its popular skate park flooded with more mud. This Saturday, the preserve will be visited by Director of Regional Parks for San Bernardino County, Beatrice Davis, for additional assessment of what can be done with county budget. Wong encourages community members who want to help to not just show up, but to call the main offices first at 760-792-1843 so the preserve doesn't become overwhelmed and difficult to delegate. Reporting for Z107.7, this is assignment reporter Gabriel Hart.
A senior dance featuring a performance by the Hot Rod DeVilles will be held at the Yucca Valley Senior Center on Saturday night. Hosted by the Yucca Valley Senior Club, this dance will include a light dinner provided by West Coast Gourmet Hot Dogs. Enjoy great music from a local band, dancing, and dinner for only $10 per person. Tickets will be available at the door at the Yucca Valley Senior Center. The 29 Palms Artists Guild will host a youth arts experience this fall. Arts and entertainment reporter Charlie Thomas shares the details.
The 29 Palms Artist Guild will be hosting a youth art experience for ages 6 to 12, led by instructor Mary Dennis, which will meet once a month beginning August 27th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Classes are $10 each and will range from working with acrylics, clay, natural and recycled materials, and the basis of drawing and sketching. Students will receive instruction, guidance, and encouragement to help ensure a positive and supportive experience. This is not a drop-off art program. A parent needs to stay on the property or can relax in the gallery. Sunday, August 27th, is painting with acrylic on canvas. Sunday, September 24th, is working with clay 1, and Sunday, October 29th, is working with clay 2. This program is supported in part by a grant from the Public Arts Advisory Committee of the City of 29 Palms. Reporting for Z107.7, this is arts and entertainment reporter Charlie Thomas.
Between being overwhelmed by meteor watchers and pummeled by a rare tropical storm, this has been a challenging month for Joshua Tree National Park. Chris Clark, National Parks Conservation Association Associate Director for the California Desert Program, will be the guest on Z107.7's Up Close show this Friday. Is park visitation being managed for the best outcomes? Clark is preparing for a public forum and wants to hear from you on what you think the park's priorities should be. Call in live and participate tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And finally, the 29 Palms High School girls varsity tennis team had their home opener against Big Bear High School on Wednesday. The Lady Cats dominated the Bears 15-3. In singles action, Caitlin Luke and Aviana Lipkins each swept all 3 of their sets, while Tommy Toyoma won her set. In doubles actions, the teams of Marley Kyle, Addie Simmons, and Tommy Toyoma, Carrie Scott each won both of their sets. The Lady Cats are 1-0. Their first league match will be on September 5th at home against Cathedral City, on September 7th at home against Banning. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear news happening, let us know about it. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm Jeff Harmetz.